Good evening, everybody, and welcome back for episode 2 of Gaming After Dark. I'm your host, Noof Nukem, and I'm here with my awesome and amazing co-host.
Primal Eve.
You guys are in for one great show again tonight. We hope you really enjoy the first episode. We had a blast bringing it to you, chatting games and other stuff. But I think as we go along, things will only get more intense. We'll give you a word of warning in advance. These podcasts, while they're gaming related, they can, well, feature a variety of topics, and they are not for, I guess you could say, the faint of heart or or what would we say, Primal? Maybe
Without balls.
yeah,
I don't
these
know.
podcasts got some sort of balls. You got some vulva action going on up in here. Uh, we are so glad everybody could make it out. Got a big shout out, obviously, to the chat because without you, we are pretty much nothing. So big shout out and a kudos go to Spider Man 356. We have got Timothy Dixon rolling in here. We got Lunch Bizzle. We've got C Script up in here. Who else we got up in here right now? Michael Monkey Punch Lugo. So, all right, we already got some of the fantastic regulars. To anyone who's not in the chat, just listening up, I want to thank you guys. The blue one is here. Welcome to the show. We got some great topics. Lunch Bizzle says I wouldn't miss it. Spider didn't even shave his balls for the occasion. Wow.
Oh
You,
man.
you, you know it's going to be good, right, Primal?
Oh yeah. Who doesn't love a smooth ball? I mean, personally, I use actual floss for my teeth, but if it's necessary and you can't shave, then so be it.
Well, that's a great question. Before we get into the hot and bothered topics, how do you like your man? Do you like him like nice and groomed? Do you like a little grass in the field? Do you like him
Um,
bald as a cue ball? Like.
I could go groomed and under. Anything that's like too wild and I actually have to look for it, that's too much. But if it's I don't mind there being something there, something to kind of grab and play with.
Right. I always say if you go down on a girl and it looks like you got buckwheat in a headlock, you're in trouble. Yeah, you got to bring the shears and the lawnmower with you. It looks like a mama sheep just got out of the yard. Then damn, born distracted. What's happening, man? You came in right in the heat of it all. We told you this is going to be a good one. I got Primal. Primal, what have you been up to? What kind of games have been holding down your fortress lately?
Well, I recently beat Kingdom Hearts a few days ago, and that it it put me in an emotional state of many different types of emotions. I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't beaten it, but it's definitely an interesting ending. I've gotten back into Tales of Vesperia because I ditched it after Kingdom Hearts came out.
Mm-hmm.
But this damn Apex Legends, I don't know what it is. I can't stop. The other night I was playing with actually Lunch Bizzle and a newcomer,
A new cucumber, yes, you know.
a newcomer to the podcast family, Tempest Sun, and we were up until past 5 probably. I don't remember, but it was one of those situations where it was like, okay, just one more, I'm heading out. Just one more, I'm heading out. And I did that for like almost 2.5, 3 hours. So I don't know.
Absolutely.
This
Yeah,
game.
well, we're gonna get into a few of those topics here in just a few minutes, and I'll kind of give you my take on, I guess, Apex Legends as well. I'm sure some people are curious as to know if I tried it out, what's been going on, that sort of thing. I've been playing a variety of things. Got back into Red Dead Redemption. I just started Chapter 4, believe it or not, so I've still got a long freaking ways to
Yep,
go. I
you
still
got
got
10
Spider-Man
more
to
to
finish
go.
off. I'm trying to go back through God of War. I just picked up that game on PSVR, which was freaking amazing. Firewall Zero Hour, looking for some people to play that with.
Mm.
So yeah, um, heck yeah, lots of stuff on the go. Definitely. And yeah, Kingdom Hearts, I got that to play. Boy, the backlogs are nasty, aren't they, people? I'm sure
Mhm.
everybody else in the chat is probably feeling the same way. It's like having too many games is probably one of the best problems in the world, but it's a problem all the same. And it's like trying to find that time and place to play all these fuckers. It's like,
Right.
man.
Well, it's not like how it was back in the day where like you had to save up all your money for that one game and then you ended up playing that game until it was beat
I
and then
know.
you would go on to the next one. Now it's just like I have at least 20, 25 games started
Well, back
and it's just it's not easy.
was gonna say, like, back during the cartridge era, like, cartridges didn't, like, you didn't get like 6 and 7 cartridges in a week, even if you had both, if
Oh
you had
no.
Nintendo and a Sega. Like, they
Mhm.
both had a game. Usually the bulk of them came out around Christmas, and there was a lull most of the
Right.
summer, you know what I mean? And you had plenty of time to not only play a game and probably beat it like 20 times, but you saved up a little money for the next one, right? And now the games are coming out as fast and furious. It seems like every time I turn around, there's a sale on, or somebody's dropping a free content, and you got demos and you got betas, and it's just absolutely. Mega Bad Seed says his backlog is as bad as my scrotum's backlog. That sounds like somebody needs to let go some bad seeds of their own. What's going on, everybody?
Oh,
Who else?
man,
We
that
got,
image.
got some new people up in here. I could have swore I saw somebody new in the chat here. I'm trying to figure out where we at. Where we at? We got somebody new in here at the house.
Yeah.
Who's in this podcast chat for the first time ever? Who's new here? If you're new, this is your first time checking out the show, press a 1. If you've already seen this show or heard us before, press a 2. Just kind of figure out who's new, because we appreciate the new viewers. We appreciate the old ones just as much. But yeah, let's get the show going here. We got some topics, and we're going to dive right into them now. I don't want the podcast to run too long tonight, because I got to run out and pick my mother-in-law up and shit from work. Blah blah blah.
Right.
So let's start with a couple. Let's cover a couple of big ones, and I'll start out with a few that you threw at me. Sean Layden, Jim Ryan, they're all over Twitter again. So Primal, just kind of break down what kind of gibberish these two have been going on with, and break it down and let me know what your take is.
Well, there's been a few statements from Sean Layden, who works with Sony, and he's made some comments about why E3 hasn't been happening, and it's because that they want to focus on games. Let me say that they want to focus on smaller amount of games versus pumping out games. They want to have quality over quantity. Now, my question actually to you, Noof, and also the chat, what would be better for you? Do you want to have a large amount of games that you can continuously play, or do you want to have just that one good game that might last a little while? Because Sony is pretty infamous for having their single player. I don't want to call them one and dones, because there are people who do end up going back and forth. But what do you think?
Well, ultimately, at the end of the day, Promo, it doesn't matter how good your game is. When it's a single player story driven game, it basically is, like I said, maybe not a one and done. You might finish it 3 or 4 times, but the fact of the matter is that once the newness wears off of any of those games, whether it's Spider Man or it's God of War, the game is pretty much. Like you see, like the first week, maybe the first 2 weeks, some of these games are pretty popular on streams, right? After that, by then,
Mhm.
most people have finished them. And guess what? Where are they in the streamline? Nowhere, right? Nobody's playing them. Yeah, like new people will pick it up, but basically games like that, they're they're like burgers, man. They come in hot. You know what I mean? You got to eat it while it's hot. You got to absorb it while it's hot. Me personally, I prefer less is more. I like a better experience. I like a great game to entertain and enthrall me, as opposed to 20 half-ass games. I feel like they're being rushed and they're full of glitches. And sure, they got some multiplayer longevity, perhaps, but at the end of the day, like I still prefer a good experience. And if and when it's possible, I prefer a great experience, and I'm going to liken it to my favorite franchise, Gears of War, where they not only
Mhm.
give you a stellar single player / co-op campaign that you could play once or twice, 3 or 4 more times, depending, but they also give you one heck of a multiplayer. And that's something that a lot of Sony's games in particular have not done, is they have not given anybody reason to go back and play them outside of the first one or
Mhm.
two times. They're really, like I said, you play them, you beat them, you move on, and they kind of sit in
Right.
your collection, right?
Yeah, but can you imagine if they just had done something as simple as add co-op to some of these games? And I know that the system isn't known for multiplayer, but it would be great if they actually had some multiplayer games that weren't just Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I think that they would be better off. And that you also something else that Sean Layden had mentioned was is that he believes that consoles are the gateway to gaming. That nobody should be hiding behind their console. That everybody should be together and celebrating games. And
I
that was
did see
probably
that.
the most, yeah, that was probably like, that kind of shocked me. That was the most intelligent and logical thing I had heard from any executive or any type of anybody. And I agree. I think that I'm all in for the gaming industry. I'm not about the consoles. If there's a game that you want to play, then play it on that console. And that also goes with crossplay. I'm totally for crossplay. There should be no reason why we don't get together
Mhm.
as a gaming community.
Yeah.
That's just the way I see it.
Absolutely. Like there's a lot of things that bring gamers together. There's also a lot of things that divide us. And the one thing that's common, no matter if you're Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation, is that they happen to be a gaming medium. The medium doesn't change. The content technically doesn't change. It's how we absorb the content. It does. It's the delivery method. And Sean kind of, painted that picture. Like he doesn't understand the sort of mob or the horde mentality to gang up and belittle someone who plays games on any other console. It doesn't really matter what the game is or how it's rated or et cetera, et cetera. It's just
Mhm.
that we're all gamers at heart. We all play for the same reason. That's to get there, escape reality, have a little bit of fun, that sort of thing. So Sean's absolutely right on these matters. Phil has alluded to that before. So, but at the end of the day, I think the majority of us gamers are pretty level-headed. We have a little fun with things. I get that, but you know what? At the end of the day, we do get the big picture. I think what we're seeing out there a lot of times are very immature gamers. They're again, it's the vocal minority, and they're always loud.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Those are the ones that can't wait to get on Twitter and lambast everything. Some of this YouTube community is pretty much the same. And I won't sit here and act all innocent. You know what? Sometimes I'm guilty of some BS myself, and I'd be the first guy to put my hand up and say I'm not perfect, right? Every once in a
Right,
while, I
nobody is.
tend to drive the narrative. We all have preferences, right?
Uh-huh.
One way or another, we all have preferences. We prefer different things. Porn is loud. Spider-Man says, yes, porn can be very loud. I usually turn it down. Uh, there's only so many times I can hear those people moaning when their legs are in the air.
Oh
Um,
my.
yeah. Oh my, indeed. But no, great point there, indeed. And he also commented and he complimented Xbox and Microsoft
Yes.
on the adaptive controller, and that is huge.
Mhm.
There is nobody in this industry. I don't care which walk of life you're from. There should be nobody out there that has a bad thing to say about the adaptive controller. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, that controller was made to help people that have had handicaps to get in on the ground room floor to actually, will not give them advantage, but at least try to level the playing field for them. And I've seen
Right.
those videos. That Super Bowl ad with those kids was
Oh,
heartwarming.
so
It was so
awesome. I
good. I
loved
wish
it.
I could be in the room with them and give them a high five and say,
Mhm.
what, way to go, guy, gal, whatever. Like, it's so cool. Kudos to Microsoft for taking that initiative to think outside the box and make this for these people. And they've even said, Sony, you guys are welcome to use the adaptive controller technology if you guys want. How cool is that? That they're like, what? If you guys want to make a version of this for your own platform, be all guests, because gamers should play no matter what.
Oh, I think it's awesome. I don't think anybody should be limited from doing something that they love. And I'm sure it's frustrating as hell for them to try and do things that they want to do. And this controller has given them a tool to do what they love. And it's absolutely amazing. I wish there was a way that everybody could have one that could have
Hmm.
one.
Absolutely. I think True Racer actually got one sent to him for his kid, because his kid has autism, and I think he struggles
Mhm.
with the standard controller. So that was pretty cool. I mean, I don't even know what True said or did, but like he got the controller, and I thought that was just amazing. You know what I mean? Like they're just, here you go, man. Yeah, no, indeed. They're saying turn your mic up, Primal. I've got you turned up quite a bit. I don't know if you're moving back from your mic or what, or if you have a headset on, but
No, I think I had like an issue earlier. I don't know what's going on with my mic.
Stick Figure's in the house. What's going on, Sticky?
Can you hear me now?
Stick is probably driving, so he probably can't hear anything outside of the horny people around him. So there you go. Eve sounds quiet.
Yeah.
We just gotta get her revved up. Yeah, we gotta tickle the clit here and get her going.
Let me see. I don't let me try one thing.
I've got her turned up on my end here. I've got it
Okay.
turned up. I don't know about turning her on, but I got it turned up. Lunch Bizzle calls dibs on that.
I bet.
Lunch Bizzle is already strapping on his gloves there right now.
How do I turn myself up?
What are you using? Phone, PC,
No, I'm just using a headset.
headset? Is there a volume control somewhere?
It does my
Like,
voice too.
yeah, like I said, I've got you turned up over on this side anyway, so hopefully that's pretty
Okay.
good. So you're just driving in face first or diving in face first. There you go. Broom broom. All right, man. But let's get down into we got some more topics here to get into and stuff like that. Noof is loud as always. Yeah, I'm loud, but not as loud as Mooch though. I don't yell as much. Nobody's ever said, "Why are you yelling?" Haven't farted into the podcast mic yet, so that's always a bonus. Let's talk about this next one, which really boils my bubble, and it probably does yours. Activision Blizzard apparently has released some really positive numbers in terms of their sales, and the stocks are up or whatever the hell it is. But on the verge of all that, they're laying off nearly 800 employees. How does that make you feel, Primal? What is going on here? Can Activision honestly, in most regards, stoop any lower? Like between Activision and EA, is there any scummier fucking companies out there?
The way that they put it really frustrates me. I understand sometimes, yes, you have to cut costs and everything, but it's almost like they're saying, hey, don't worry, these people aren't even part of the whole development team. It's just another part that does something that we don't need. Okay, 800 people, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
They did
not eight
something.
people, 800 people.
They had jobs. There's probably people who have been there for years. They said that it was mostly esports and promotion, I think, or something along those lines. Okay, esports for
Yeah,
Activision, that's a big deal. Call of Duty. Okay,
yeah,
and
no doubt.
then just promotions or anything like that, that's important. So it really frustrates me that they're okay with just letting them go. They did say that they would have a severance package that would last up for a year or
Mhm.
something like that. Um, but it's just, I don't know. I really don't think that Activision doesn't make enough to cut that many people. They make enough with Call of Duty alone.
Yeah, when you're
So
when you're part of one of the biggest game companies in the world, period, and you're laying off that many, I'm sure they've got to be some work or other projects that they could have easily transitioned them to, as opposed to just, hey, let's cut some corners. Maybe the CEO might not get 2.5 million this year for the bonus. You might only get two. I mean, you hear that shit all the time, right? Like the little guy gets cut, and then the fucking CEOs and the corporate heads are just fucking lining their pockets and just laughing all the way to the bank, and it's fucking terrible. I hate it. I feel sorry for any of the people that have been in that situation. It's never
mhm.
fun getting laid off, especially when maybe you like your job and you've had all that stuff. You got plans and you got kids and families and stuff like that. I think it's terrible, man. The difference between the porn industry and the regular working world is in the porn industry. Well, you normally come to work and you get laid. In any other industry, you come in and you might likely get laid off. Man.
Literally, yeah.
Uh,
Um,
so we
no, it
gotta
is sad. It is a shame though.
We got to give some more big shout outs. Middle Age Game Guy is in here. He's been here for a little while now, but Middle Age Game Guy, what's going on? Stick Figure, I think I mentioned you already, but hello again. Shizno Elite is up in the house. What's happening, Shizno? DJ Xbox fan, how are you doing? Um, yeah, I know, man. Porn, I don't know, man. I tell you, I probably would have been a porn star, but I'm just, yeah, on like a clothesline, I'm not hung. So there you go. I'm adequate. You know what I mean? I'm adequate. What's going on, Mr. Kima? Yeah, adequate, but yeah, don't worry. I won't be I won't my kneecaps won't be tripping up in my dick, put it that way. No laugh at the problem on that one. Come on, Bravo. What's going on, girl?
Trying to figure out this mic shit because it's gonna drive me
Uh
nuts. All right, so let's see.
Beezy McNasty. We got some
Who
McNastiness up
and
in here. I like that
Chisno?
name. We got to get Beezy to come and host on a show one time. Just that name alone. I just want to be like, yo, Beezy, what's going on, man? Bring some McNastiness up in here. Oh man, he's got a great name. I love it. But I mean, there's not much to say on this whole topic. I mean, other than it really sucks, and and it's Activision, so it just like seems like they keep just getting scummier and scummier with all the crap. And of course, Bungie just left them a while back too, so maybe Bungie could, smell the decay going on. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. That was probably one of my first thoughts too, as of that could be one of the reasons why they split. We never got an actual legitimate reason as to what happened. It was just like, yeah, we're no longer together anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But no, if I wouldn't want to be with Activision too. But then again, Bungie also likes their money. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
it was just too greedy on both sides and they broke up.
Yeah. Activision's like that anal penetrator, you know what I mean? They go in nice and easy at first with all the lube and stuff, and you're like, this don't feel so bad. And then all of a sudden they start breaking out the big fucking the big spiky prongs and shit, and you're like, yeah, we going in, we go dry heave this shit. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but no, once you get into it, it gets better. But
Ah.
unfortunately, with them, it did not get better.
Oh man. No, it won't get better. Yeah, put the strap-ons away, people. Put the strap-ons away. Let's talk about another topic here. Microsoft owns 10% of Bungie, though. Good point. Let's talk about another Starbuck Unlimited. How you doing? Welcome to the podcast. Appreciate you being that here. Apex Legends, apparently, well, that just kind of came out of nowhere, just completely just dropped out of the wild. Never even heard of
Yeah.
this game until everybody's talking about it. And apparently, there's like 25 million people playing and talking about it. What is the attraction to this game? Primal, you've been playing it, you said earlier. Tell me, what do you like about it? What do you think of it overall? And do you think this is kind of do you think Respawn is going to take this game now to the next level, like they're on to something now, or do you think it's a kind of just it's a fill the gap kind of project? What do you think? What do you think of it? What do you like? What do you don't like?
Um, I'm actually really, really impressed with this. Surprisingly impressed with this. I have played all the other BRs, PUBG, Fortnite for like half a second. But for some reason, Apex gets me as everything that I wish I could do in the other ones, I could do it in here. The ping system that they have, if you have a teammate on your team that doesn't have a mic, you can communicate with them by pinging an item that they may need, or even pinging an enemy so that they can actually look in the direction, or even pinging the area that you want to go without having to look at your map and try and figure out where you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Also, being able to pick up items and have them automatically equip themselves and get rid of the item that isn't as good is fantastic for your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Your shots actually land, which is pretty great for me. I had a lot of issues with previous BRs and actually pretty much previous any shooters. I see that. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, you're supposed to be a superhero, bro.
I think it's just well balanced with all the classes that you have. All the weapons are well balanced. I haven't had an issue with anything being overpowered, and it's also extremely quick. I don't feel like I have to wait 500 years to load into the map and then finally land. It's in and you get it in and you get it done and you move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Um
I think I
but
played like 3 matches before the textures loaded in on PUBG.
right. Before I had an X, I used to be able to walk right through the buildings. It was one of my favorite abilities that I had that wasn't meant to be in the game. It's just I don't know, I've spent so many hours into this game already. I still have yet to win one. That is my only thing. I've been down to the bottom 2, but I have yet to win one.
This
So if
fucking chat.
anybody's interested, you know,
This chat's rotten too, man. I love this chat. We got
and see,
Spider-Man says you'll ping you even in lunch bizzle. I'll show you my shots landing Primal.
trying so hard not to skip a beat, but it's not happening.
Oh man.
Yeah, I love it. And Newf, you have no idea. I had to double check, reread, make sure that I actually knew how to read when I saw your tweet saying, fuck it, I'm going to try Apex. So I want
You
to
just saw
know.
the words "fuck it" and got excited.
Right? I want to know what you think of it.
Well, like I said, it came out of nowhere. The only reason I'm even was tempted to try it was because I saw a lot of my friends just jump on it right away, and they were raving about this game. And second of all, it's from Respawn. They make Titanfall, and Titanfall is without a doubt, hands down, one of my favorite shooters of the generation. One of my favorite shooters since basically Halo, and that says a lot. So, once I started watching some footage, I watched people playing it a little bit. I said, I'm gonna give this a try. And sure enough, I jumped in. I think I got a champion on my third game. I had a pretty good team, but right off the bat, like you summed it up perfectly. It's gorgeous to look at. It's a nice looking game.
Mhm.
Basically, it feels to me like Overwatch meets Titanfall meets Borderlands in a way, because it has the character based system, sort of like over the characters are a little bit tacky and corny, and I'm sure there's more to come, but they all have their styles and that sort of stuff. And then the Borderlands part for me is only because when you open up the chest, the crates or whatever, or you pick up weapons, if you notice there's like a little description bar around them, right? And then they have the little light that beams up. And if you've ever played Borderlands, when you pick up anything in Borderlands, you see like the little beam of lights, like purple or yellow or whatever, so if it's like a really good weapon or what, like you have that going for it. But again, it plays like Titanfall, a little bit slower without the traversal and the wall climbing and all that stuff, but it has that tightness. It has that great control. It has that great aiming. Like you said, you feel like your shots land. It doesn't feel like you're aiming to the left and it takes forever to line someone up. You know what I mean? The downside is I don't find it overall as intense per se as like PUBG. When PUBG gets down to the wire, because that's the only other battle royale game I played, I will say when PUBG, when you get down that final couple of circles and people are starting to come, like shit gets intense. But sometimes I don't know if it's like I don't feel like I'm in control when I play PUBG. Like I don't feel like no matter what weapon that I've got a decent chance of killing anybody. Do you know what I mean? Like people are too far away. People are either sniping you and you're down before you know it. It's like unless you got a really good team and people are calling stuff out in PUBG, it just feels like it's a very steep learning curve of a game. Whereas I feel like when you look at Apex, it's a game that feels like you pick it up and it feels like old hat right away. It's like if you've been playing Call of Duty for years, it basically feels like you picked up Call of Duty. It's just tight. It's on the money. That's all I could say. I think it's decent. How long it's going to stay popular for is anybody's guess. The thing that I'm worried about now is how many friggin' Apex Legends knockoffs are we going to see? Right? How many people now are going to try to copy this game, because this game apparently is all the rage, right? Spider-Man plays PUBG. I know that Spider-Man, and I'll play PUBG with you sometime soon as well. I'm not a PUBG hater. Like there's other games I'd rather play, but I do have PUBG, and it's okay. It has its perks as well. But yeah, that's kind of my thought. 25 million players playing it or have played it already. That is just absolutely staggering. So I think Respawn has got a big hit on their hand. But I definitely think the EA had their hands in this. I think at some point they saw the craze, they knew that they needed to get a studio on top of it, and they probably looked at Respawn knowing that Titanfall 2 was a bit of a dud, not from a story or multiplayer standpoint, but commercially it was a bit of a dud. It didn't have the sales. So I think they looked at Respawn and said, how fast can you guys sort of take your engine and turn around a bit of a game, maybe capitalize on this craze, because it is free to play. It is only one map. It's limited characters so far, so you have to think that it wasn't just Respawn going, "Hey, let's just do a fucking this game right out of the blue," and not like a fully fledged Titanfall or even another project. You know what I mean? Like it just seems fishy that they're saying, "Oh, EA had no hand in it," but I'm somehow not buying that.
I definitely can see what you're saying, though. I feel like PUBG and Fortnite and all the other BRs, the Call of Duty, Blackout, they're all going to have these massive updates, these giant patches, and all of a sudden you're going to be able to be doing the same exact thing. But then in response, Respawn's going to have to do something on top of what they're already doing.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice, interesting to watch. I'm not going to say that I am going to be playing Apex Legends all the time.
Yeah.
But I am right now.
Absolutely. But Primal, aren't you? One thing I'm impressed, and somebody else brought it up on another podcast, and I forget which one. I don't know. It might have been So Shady. It might have been So Shady last night on the Game Boasters podcast. But the one thing I was really impressed with, and maybe you are too, like here is a game that sort of came out of nowhere. Nobody expected it, and here it comes out without little fanfare, without little hype, without little anything, and it drops and it runs almost flawlessly. Like compared to all the other betas and demos and fucking trials and shit we've seen over the last 3 or 4 weeks, everything seems like broken as fuck. How is this one so damn good compared to everything else? Like this
I
one actually feels
know.
like they got their shit together. Like is Respawn just really talented, know what they're doing, or is other fucking people out there new at this whole game, or what? Because it staggers me that this comes out and it's almost flawless,
Right?
and then
That
everything else, these high
blows my
profile
mind.
games are out there running like absolute dog shit.
Fucking PUBG, like a week and a half ago, probably the last time I've ever played it, the fucking map killed me more than any other player. And I don't want to be playing a game that's going to do that to me. And how long has PUBG been out for, like, by now? And instead of coming up with these maps that people don't even like, maybe you should focus and try and fix what needs to be fixed before expanding. That would be the smart thing. But not everybody's
This might seem
thinking.
weird for PUBG, but I think that studio, period, I think they need to fucking just tear it down. They need to build this game from the ground up.
Yes.
Like, because I feel like they took a mod and they kept trying to fix a mod. And it's like anything. If you have if you don't build a house properly, the thing you're always going to get, you're always going to be patching it, right? You're always going to patch, you're always going to try to fix. But again, if the foundations aren't there, it doesn't matter how good the roof is, shit's going to collapse. And I feel like that's where the
Mhm.
era of PUBG is. At some point in time, they should have just scrapped it and built the fucking game from the ground up and built it with today's hardware in mind, not really high end fucking PCs. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. But I'm impressed with Apex. I like it. If you guys haven't tried it, do yourself at least a favor. Go give it a shot. If you like Titanfall and you like BR, then this is going to go hand in hand with you. If you don't like either, then you can skip it and walk along. Right? So alrighty, well, let's get into the next topic of the evening, and this one's going to be a little lighter. Let's mix it up a little bit. I saw some rumors on the internet, Eve, that it looks like they are considering Robert Pattinson from the Twilight movies
Ah,
for the next Batman role, and I want to get the chat's take on this too, because when I saw this, I was like, man, if you thought Ben Affleck was bad, this is fucking terrible. So what do you think? Do you like Robert Pattinson at all, and do you think if he was to be cast, could he pull it off?
okay, I I know everybody sees him and they see him glittering in the light of the beauty of the vampire that was in Twilight. I get that. That's how everybody sees him. He hasn't really done too many other movies. He does mostly periodic and romances. Uh I like the direction of them going to a Batman that's younger.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely like to see a younger Batman. And what was funny, because I was talking about this with my daughter earlier, and she said, "Well, he does have the chin for it." And I took a good look. I took a good look at him, and he does have a great chin for it. Now I can't exactly judge him completely because I haven't seen all of his movies. I don't
Right.
know what he can do besides what I have seen. So I'm kind of on the fence here, but I still see glittering vampire. And I am not I am
Uh,
not I am not a yeah.
he's got a good chin for catching balls. Good one, lunch. Oh, indeed. Keep going, Primal. Sorry, this chat's fucking hilarious.
No,
There.
I got lost with chins on the balls. Um I'm like, should I take a profile shot of my chin now?
Look, I'll,
Um
I'll go agree with it. Look, the young part I'm okay with. I mean, I thought Ben Affleck was plenty young. It's not like he's an old geezer by any means. And you know what, Ben Affleck, I was a little bit against too when I first heard, but you know what, I'm going to come out and say it. I actually thought he did a pretty damn good job. Of anything, I really liked him as Batman, not so much as the Bruce Wayne aspect. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. But you know what,
yeah.
Robert Patterson just like there's so many other actors out there who I think could pull this off much better. I mean, fuck, I'd rather see Keanu Reeves dress up as Batman than fucking Robert
Oh
Patterson.
man, that'd be
Um,
interesting.
that would be interesting. Hey guys, I'm Batman. I'll kick your ass.
I don't know, it's been
uh,
so difficult to fill in oh my gosh, brain fart. Total brain fart.
Brain fire.
Christopher Nolan's Batman. What was his
Right.
name?
Yes. Christian Bale.
See? Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's so hard to fill in because like I saw Christian Bale be Batman. Like that's who
Yeah.
I saw besides him in American Psycho, who he was fucking nuts and I fucking love that movie. But yeah, I it's hard to fill in previous shoes. Like, I don't want to bring this up. I don't know if the chat is a huge fan of this, but when they casted Jared Leto as the Joker, I
Oh
got
yeah,
excited. I got absolutely excited because I love Jared Leto. He's fucking nuts, you know, and he really knows how to get into character. And then when the movie released, I was severely disappointed. That's why I'm kind of on the fence about Robert
yeah.
Pattinson because I don't know. It could go really, really good. It could go really, really bad.
See, to me, I'm with you with the Jared Leto part. I like Jared Leto. I think he's a great actor and stuff like that. It's just it wasn't his acting as much as the way that they changed his Joker, like his profile of it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't a Joker that we've kind of come to know and love. He felt very ghetto, very I don't know, just like more like a mob mentality joke. It was just different, you know what I mean? Where the other Jokers, even Heath Ledger's Joker, which was a little less traditional than say the comic book or
Mhm.
the or what you call it from the Tim Burton movies with Jack Nicholson Joker, like you know his was really weird and you know that sort of thing. But his is just
But he made
oh,
Joker his own.
yeah.
I felt like I am a fan of the Joker and Batman. Probably the only DC fan I am, except for now Jason Momoa because he's hot, but that's the only reason. Um, but uh, yeah, I like the fact that Heath Ledger made him his own. Jared Leto
Mhm.
didn't really make Joker his own, and like what Lunch Bizzle said, we really didn't get to see too much of him.
Yeah,
But I think I saw enough of him for me not to want to be interested.
absolutely. I think there was any great casting call out there in the last 20 years for like a particular role. I mean, outside of Christian Bale, which I thought was fantastic, and maybe it's because I didn't know Christian Bale all that well up until Batman,
Mhm.
but it was got to be um, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. In fact, I thought the guy
Oh yeah,
killed
that
it.
was perfect. Like he
The
was born
guy,
to be
you know,
Deadpool.
yeah, like he
Yeah.
was born to do the role. Not only did he carry it off, you know, from a physique wise, and I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter how Deadpool looks because he looks fucked up anyway. You know, but you know, Ryan Reynolds just had like he kind of has that natural Deadpool, like mentality anyway in his real life.
Mhm.
He's that whimsical, like that's you know, Ryan Reynolds is that guy. Like that's almost him in real life too. He's like always fucking
Right. He's playing himself.
one liners and fucking comedy up the yin yang kind of guy, right? So, um, yeah, but no, Robert Patterson's definitely a no for me, and I think the chat also agrees that I don't think anybody hates the guy, but it's just like no, it just seems too tacky. Plus, I think he's kind of short and small. You'd have to put on some muscle or something. Uh,
Mhm.
oh my God, that new Joaquin
That's right.
Phoenix one as the Joker. Jesus, that was terrible. I know I saw pictures and I'm like, oh fuck, I can't. I don't know. I'm just losing it all
I
together.
know it's so hard to tell from like the screenshots and everything else on what they're gonna look like. For some reason, I just had Will Smith playing as the genie pop into my head. It's you never know what they're gonna
Um,
look like until they're actually
what's
on screen.
Yeah,
Did
what's
you?
next? Gonna paint a big fucking red lips on somebody's asshole and call it the Joker? I mean, what the hell, man? Like
Right.
seriously. Oh man. Yeah, but Deadpool, yeah, it is like a comedy more so than the superhero movie. It's hilarious.
Mhm.
I love both Deadpool films. I don't know if you guys agree, but I
Yes,
thought they were both fantastic.
absolutely agree.
I just laughed to kill myself. My God, that first movie too, when his hand blew off and he's got the little hand and shit. Oh my God, it was
Mhm.
too funny.
I love when he was crossing and uncrossing his legs with the
His
baby
legs in
thing.
the second one. What was it? Yeah, what's his name? Comes in Cable or whatever.
Mhm.
Oh my God, it is so fucking good. But yeah, anyway, like I said, this show might go all over the place. We don't do this in order, people. There is no order in here, no order at all. But let's talk about one of the topics that's been burning everybody's ears for the last couple of days. Crackdown 3 is coming with a fair share of love. It's coming with a fair share of hate, probably way more on the hate side. And I think we know where a lot of the hate's coming from. But what's your take on what you've seen of the game so far? Have you had a chance to try the Wrecking Zone demo or beta or whatever the fuck they want to call it?
Yeah,
What's
tech
your take
test
on it?
or
Picking
something.
up the game, blah blah blah, and what do you think most importantly about the fact that the game is what a couple days away from launch, and it comes with the fact that you can't party up with your friends to play the fucking thing?
Mhm.
I thought that was well. I'll get your take first, but let's just say bizarre.
Very bizarre. As far as Crackdown goes, I've seen the videos. I've seen The images and stuff. I think it looks cool. I don't think the graphics are bad. I think it's pretty neat. I haven't really played too much of the previous ones before, so I am thankful for having Game Pass, so that I could really try it and see if I want to get into it. Now, my number one reason of wanting to get into it is for the multiplayer. Now that goes into finding out that I can't do matchmaking with my friends. Well, that's weird. That's really weird. Who does that? Like, how do you not do that? There was actually one time, now that I think about it, but it was during a Gears of War beta where you could not do any matchmaking with your friends. Like, you all had to do a countdown and enter in the matchmaking lobby at the same time and hope that you matched up. But that was during
Yeah,
a
for a beta,
beta.
I can understand, but when the game launches,
Yeah, that's kind of like that's important. That's like
mhm.
I don't know, going outside without your pants, or if your penis was detachable, you left it in the yard. I don't know why it would be in the yard, but that's where it is. It's just it doesn't make sense at all. And that's I don't understand. That's their biggest that's their cash cow. Like,
Mhm.
to be able to have people play with their friends. They are going to lose a lot probably
I
at
know.
launch.
It's like
You know,
paying
to
for a
be
hooker and she tells you you can look, but you can't touch. Be like, what's the point?
well, some people are into that. Um, yeah, I
Uh,
don't know. I did see some more fresh rumors and stuff that they did fix it. Hopefully that they did. They don't have a lot of time. So I just that's just so it is very bizarre. It's odd that they would this game that we've been waiting for that's been delayed, and they release
mhm.
it without matchmaking with friends.
Ooh, look
Come
who's in
on.
the chat. Shake, shake, shake. It's Salty for fuck's sake. There you go. That's your intro, Salty. Shake, shake, shake. It's Salty for fuck's sake. He's in the room. Way to go, Salty. Thanks for showing up, brother. We appreciate it, man. Eve, like I said, I think it's weird. I watched all these video on it, got his take on it too. It's really bizarre this day and age, to have a game that's been development this long, that's been primarily focused on multiplayer through. I mean, that's been a big part of their whole shtick, is this multiplayer, cloud-based, fucking play with your friends, blow shit up kind of thing. And then here we are days away from launch, and one of their main features is not there. And I get it. It's not the be all end all. It shouldn't be a reason that people
Oh
just,
no.
I don't want to buy the game, but it is kind of really weird and very disappointing. I mean, saying they're planning to add it at some point. I don't even know why they don't even have it now. It's just weird. But like I said last night on the Game Dosage podcast, I think Phil and company are to the point now where they're tired of this game. And I don't mean they're tired that they tired of playing it. They're tired of this game, talking about it, promoting. I think they just want to get this fucker out the door. I think they want to take their teams away from this project, because I think at some point, I think they've done what they can do with it, and I think the cloud processing has been way more complex than any of their studios had anticipated. Maybe the hardware is just not there. Maybe they just don't know how to code for it properly yet. I mean, it's got to be a massive undertaking to run, a massive city and have the whole thing destruct and have pieces actually fall in a natural state. I mean, nobody understands this, obviously, unlike, say, the developers. They're the ones who know the complexities of it. We don't deal with the hardware, but I can only imagine it's way more difficult than they ever thought or anticipated. I mean, it's easy to talk about a game at a launch and say, well, these are our plans, but look, we always know the best laid plans don't always turn out that way. Hell, every sports team say they plan on winning a fucking trophy every year, but let's see how well most of the teams actually do when they actually get on the field, right? So it's the same similar scenario. I'm not making excuses for them. I think it's a big minus, but it's not going to deter me from buying the game. As a matter of fact, a lot of people aren't going to be deterred, because most people that I know so
Of
far are getting
course.
it because they're playing with Game Pass, right? Game Pass is going to be the saving grace for any of these games that aren't Metacritic fucking bombshells. You know what I mean? Anything
Mhm.
that's a 60, 70, it's perfectly placed for Game Pass, because, most people don't care at that point anyway. They'll just play it there, right? So, but I look, for me, I'm buying Crackdown for the single player, for the co-op
Mhm.
single player. That I never cared about the multiplayer. Now, I did play Wrecking Zone. I actually enjoyed it. I actually thought it played pretty well. I didn't have any major hiccups with it. So, but I just don't think it has unless they're planning to stick with it and they have content, a roadmap and content plan for the long haul, I don't see players sticking with Crackdown's multiplayer for any length of time. I really don't. It just feels like it's shallow. That the novelty of the shit blowing up wears off quickly.
Mhm.
That's my take. You can elaborate on that.
I just I don't know. I definitely agree with you. There's still going to be the Crackdown fan base as well. There'd be people who's going to buy it regardless and have it in their collection, like physical copies, not just digital copies. So Game Pass may not necessarily be the exact saving grace for them, but I do love Game Pass. I know you're not into it, new, but
Yeah,
there would be I wouldn't buy Crackdown on my own if it
yeah.
wasn't for Game Pass.
So there you go. Right, that right there is probably about 70 to 80% of the people out there right now. They're like, I probably wouldn't pick up Crackdown, especially now. I think on a regular time when Crackdown would come out, there'd be nothing surrounding it. Probably most people would have bought the game, but the fact that Crackdown's coming out in February next to three or four major releases, you got Metro, you've got Anthem, we just had like Resident Evil and Kingdom Hearts, and then you've got the
Mhm.
Division 2 following that up. Like there's so many big AAA games. People just don't have the money for like games every single month, right? So this is a super
Exactly.
bonus for people that are like I said, finding it tough financially to buy all the games they want, because that's one less one that they have to put on their list. If you got Game Pass, well, you got the game. As simple as that.
I
Yeah.
like it because there's so many other games that I would have never even thought of trying. Like we Happy Few, I thought about it, but after playing it, I'm like, this is so great. I absolutely love that game. And there's been
Mhm.
a few other like cute little like co-op games and stuff that I've enjoyed. So I definitely think Game Pass. I love Game Pass.
Absolutely. Like Lunch says in the chat, the problem, they pushed it so many times they couldn't do it again without, you're going to put it up against other releases. So yeah, I think that's where they were at. They made a commitment to a release date. They'd already, I mean, delayed this game so many times that it had to get out the door. At this point, Microsoft is ready to wipe their hands from it. It's either going to be a success or it's going to be a flop. There's kind of no in between with this game. People are going to love it or hate it. Most people are going to play it through Game Pass now anyway. I think what you're going to see with Crackdown will be much like the Sea of Thieves scenario, where
Mhm.
there is going to be a large vocal section of the public that just wants to hate on this game for whatever reason, but there's going to be a lot of people that love it, that will play it, that will adore it, people that will play it that never played it. There's going to be Crackdown fans of the old games that are going to love it and already do love it. It's just one of those things. But I think they want to move away from it because they got a lot of other games in the pipeline. They got a lot of other things they want to promote. And it's just like, if you keep delaying or eventually you even get down to the point where you cancel it, then you even look worse again. I'd rather
Right.
take the rap for putting out a subpar game than no game at all, right? Because at the end of the day,
Mhm.
people would rather play the game in whatever form it's in than have no
Right.
game. Because would you imagine after 5 years they finally go and say,
Jeez.
well, guys, we got some bad news. We decided to kill Crackdown altogether. Could you imagine? And there were fans. I mean, even up until last year that said, you know what, Crackdown's never coming out. We're never going to see the game. It's fucking done, right?
Mhm.
So there were naysayers. So yeah, there you go. And I totally agree, Salty. Nobody's disagreeing on that. It is kind of
Yeah.
weird that one of the features we've had even since the original Xbox, for fuck's sake, is not in this game, and it's a major multiplayer game. It's just bizarre.
Mhm.
Maybe they'll fix it up soon. I suspect at some point they'll have it, but I just don't understand why they didn't have it there from day one. Anyway, they need to explain that. Like, why wasn't it there? Yeah, I don't think it'd be an oversight. Oh shit, we forgot. Xbox players like to party up and play together. How do we miss that? Like, duh. You know what I
It
mean?
doesn't make sense, especially if something's been in development for that long. Not only are do we have our expectations high as fuck, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like something as simple as you said, the multiplayer feature that really baffles me. That baffles me so much. That's like Call of Duty being like, "Hey, by the way, we forgot to add matchmaking," or just something stupid like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's disappointing, but I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm not I'm not mad at the game as a whole.
Well, unfortunately, in this day and age, salty transparency from devs is not something we see a lot of. Quite rarely do they ever take blame or admit that they're having problems with things. They either get a
Mhm.
publicist or an executive to cover their ass, or they make up some bullshit lies. Like, there's no fucking way that I'm buying that the Apex Legends had nothing to do with EA's meddling. I'm pretty
Mhm.
fucking sure it did. I just not buying that Vince and Pilla and them sat down and went, "Hey, let's fucking put out a Titanfall based map to capitalize on the BR. Just don't buy it. It looks like a push to try to make money because Battlefield kind of had a bit of a rough go this year, and obviously the year before, Titanfall 2 was a bit of a rough one. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It is what it is, but we got to roll with it. You either play Crackdown or you don't. Let's ask the chat who is getting Crackdown day one. I don't care if you're buying it physical or getting through Game Pass, but who's getting it or who's going to play it? Give us a one in the chat. Two if you couldn't be bothered. And then we'll move on to the next topic. We got a couple of topics that we're going to have to jump through here fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try to do these next two fairly quickly. Eve, let's get down to best story-based single-player games. What would be your top three? Kind of give us a quick description. I'll try to give you mine. Go ahead and pick the three story-based games that you absolutely love and adore. I know there's so many of them, but at least try to come up with at least three.
I know, because guys, I seriously have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games. So I'll just go with first off, the first Kingdom Hearts. I absolutely love this game. I wasn't really into it at first because it was a Disney game, but the fact that they had Final Fantasy characters in it as well. It's about a boy trying to find a girl and about hearts and saving princesses and being really badass about it. Like Donald and Goofy are really fucking badass, and you want to continue on and you want to win and you want to save the world, you want to get the hearts and you want to get the girl. So I absolutely love Kingdom Hearts. Oh, and you want to kill Sephiroth if any of you guys are Final Fantasy fans. For number two, Life is Strange. um it is, I know, new to you, a walking simulator. But they this had probably one of the craziest endings, twists to anything, probably one of the most fucked up ending and twist I have ever played in any game. And kudos for Square to creating this masterpiece. It's about a girl who can alter time. She can freeze it and go back. And in the process of this, she's trying to find a girl that's been missing for a while. And there's all these different directions while trying to figure out what the hell's going on with your power, and also dealing with high school and all that jazz. But seriously, it's one of the most fucked up stories. All right, number three, Shadow Hearts Covenant 2. It is part of the Shadow Hearts series. It came out on the PlayStation 2. I absolutely love it because it goes through history and it twists it. One of your main villains is Rasputin. You have to go and stop him from a cult, and you get to join up with all these characters such as Princess Anastasia, Geppetto, and you get to find out uh, why Geppetto makes puppets, and it ends up being that he was recreating his daughter who had passed away, and she came back to life, and now he holds her all the time and she's his weapon. It's some really crazy fucked up shit that I absolutely love. You also get to look for porn. There's these pornography cards that you have to go through, and you need to turn them into this guy who just thinks that they're absolutely fabulous. And it's, I don't know, the whole entire thing just kept me going. I wanted to keep going through the twisted history of World War One, Japan, and Russia. It was just, it's my all-time favorite game. Okay, I could go on forever,
Great
Jim.
selections, and I loved how you broke those down. Fantastic. You definitely, made every selection sound intriguing. I can understand why you picked them. Big shout out again to everybody in the chat. Let's give a shout out to some people that jumped in here. We got Death Grips. What's going on, Death Grips? He says Metal Gear Solid 1, The Last of Us, and Red Dead Redemption. We got AK Massify. What's going on, AK? Thanks for joining the podcast. Yeah, for me, it's, look, I got to go with Gears of War. I don't think the story
Yes.
itself is going to win any Academy Awards kind of thing. You know what I mean? But it was solid. It was just the way the world was, right? It's just how the whole like the setting, the structure, the characters, everything was larger than life, and I loved that. I loved the story. I liked how the story progressed through number 2 and 3, the whole arc with Dom and Maria, on top of the fact that the locusts were obviously trying to, take over the world. It was kind of simple, but I really liked it. So Gears of War for me, because nothing will ever just beat that franchise. It's my be all end all. Second of all, I got to go with The Last of Us. The Last of Us had an incredible story, post-apocalyptic style story that was very intriguing. It was great from start to finish. Love the tension, love the characters. Joel and Ellie were awesome. Love that progression. And I'm going to have to say the reinvention of Tomb Raider. Those Tomb Raider games never had the most complex story either, but I just love that franchise. I love how this character has grown over the 3 games. I love how it just gets more gripping. There's a little more at stake, that sort of thing. Red Dead Redemption's got a phenomenal story to Red Dead 2 right now. I'm playing that, and it's crazy. It's crazy how Red Dead is just so, as I said the other night when I took a screenshot, it's not just a game, it feels like an experience. The characters are very identifiable. They feel like real life characters. It's almost as if you really are playing one of the best Westerns of all time, but you have control of it. I mean, honorable mentions, been some great games out there. Like, I mean, any of the Quantum Breaks or Quantic Dream games are pretty damn good story-wise. Until Dawn was another fantastic game. It had a great story. Quantum Break actually had a pretty cool story. I loved the little segments in between. Some people complained about them, but I loved it. I picked more than 3. I gave you my 3 main ones. Those are some honorable mentions. And hey, I could add Dead or Alive to that list as well, just because I love seeing sexy big tit women beat the shit out of each other for no reason. So that's always good with me. But great choices, everybody. We are winding down, and this is going to be our last topic of the night. We want to get out of here. I got some stuff to do. I don't want to cut the show short, but we're going to end it here. And this is a great topic that Primal brought to my attention just before we went live. Supersonic Station, what's up, brother? But she wants to know, because this is Valentine's Day week, she wanted to know basically, who would you shag from any video game and why, basically. So I understand you've got a few characters put together. Eve, who have you got?
Yes.
Which guy or gal would you
Yeah.
like to bone if you had a chance to be with?
See, these top 3 are a lot easier for some reason. I'll go from the bottom up. In third place, Sid from Final Fantasy VII. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but he's got a bad mouth and a big spear. So he's also older, and I'm definitely into the older guys. So I don't know, something about him makes me want to just, yeah. Number 2 is Lulu from Final Fantasy X. If you guys look her up, holy shit, I want her to take off all her belts and strap me up with them. You have no idea. And she holds a Moogle, but she is so sexy. She is beyond sexy. She is the sexiest Final Fantasy character, if not the sexiest character of all time. But she's not. My number 1 that I would shag would be Mad Moxie from Borderlands. I feel like that she could pull a panel off the wall, and instead of there being guns, she has every sex toy in the world. I could just fucking see it, and I want her to be like, which one in you and which one do you want in me? Like, she's just beyond sexy, and just her personality, single mom, badass bitch. And she also likes it skaggy style, I have learned. And we have that in common. So
Skaggy style.
Yeah, if you don't.
Goddamn. Hashtag that tonight, people. Skaggy style from Primal Eve.
Yes. Eve likes it skaggy. All right. Yeah, she's my, yeah. Yeah, I'd do her.
Nice. Very nice. All right, this should be interesting to see what the fucking people in the chat are saying as well. Supersonic Station says Rob the Robot. I'm not. Oh, that would be funny. For me, I'm going to start with number 3 would be 2B from Nier Automata, because there's something deadly sexy about that outfit she wears, those long legs and the blindfold and the white hair. Honest to God, she is one of the sexiest characters I've seen in a video game, and there's just something about that one that gets me going. When I see people doing cosplay of her, I'm just like, oh. The next one for me is going to be the legend. It would be Chun-Li from Street Fighter. There's something about Chun-Li and those fucking thick thighs that I want those wrapped around my head and crushing my damn skull. Alan Savage, what's up? And Michael Monkey Punch Lugo took one right out of my book. Yes, how can I not want to get with the legendary Lara Croft? Her accent, her demeanor, her physicality. Yes, and I will take the round boob Lara Croft, not the pointy ass boob one from the 90s. Those things could poke my fucking eyes out. But yeah, Lara Croft, Lara, not Lara, it's Lara Croft. Yes, I definitely would do her for sure. So that would be my tops right there. C-Script says he likes Nier Automata. How about anybody in the chat? Anybody that would be your be-all, end-all if you could shag a guy or a girl from any of your favorite franchises? Would love to definitely know. This is your time to embarrass yourself now before we take off.
Oh, I can keep going.
Princess Peach Supersonic says the 8-bit version. Oh, yeah. Imagine getting all pixelated up in her chassis.
I wouldn't mind getting gang banged by the entire Gears, like, cog team. You know?
Hey, I want to be penetrated by a bunch of Tetris blocks. Just easy on the L down there, okay?
Oh, man.
If somebody says Donkey Kong, I'm going to lose it. Oh, fuck. Oh, man. Great stuff. Awesome topics, guys and gals. Primal, this has been a hell of a second episode. I can't wait for the third already. I'll be counting the days down till next Tuesday. Hopefully, speaking of, guys, I have one question to toss out to the chat before we go. And that is, we want to bring some guests onto the show, and we're not partial, we're not fucking, prejudiced, or we're not gonna picky and choosy and shit. You don't have to be a big YouTuber, you don't have to be a small YouTuber, you don't even necessarily have to been ever on fucking YouTube, period. Just be a gamer, be able to talk some nonsense, talk some cool shit. We'd love to have somebody as a guest, and we want to know from you in the chat whether you are interested or someone who you would like to see on the show. We would love to take your suggestions. Can you type a name down in the chat somewhere? If, like I said, if you're interested, say me. If you know somebody that would like, that you think should be a great fit on the show, and we can convince them to come on, because obviously I don't expect a lot of guests on our show because a lot of people out there are too fucking afraid, because, this is a bit of a taboo game podcast, and some people don't want to ruin their, rising reputations by coming on with a bunch of, idiot losers, as they'd say. So let us know if get Moxie. There you go. That would be great. Hopefully, I'd love to get Lady Fox. I'd like to get more ladies on. I'd like to get people from different, walks of life on here, so this show doesn't sound, like Noof, a little too white at times. Yeah, man, we got to get some people on. Creep Queen would be great. Chris Steele's fucking awesome. We got Yoshida has to come on here. Oh my god, that would be funny to get in for a few minutes. Danny Boy and Yoshida. That would be funny. But great, guys. Anyway, you can always DM me those as well. You got me on Twitter, so DM me your suggestions and stuff. We got to get out of here. But it's been a fantastic show. You guys know where to find me, always in the gutter. That is Nukem 76 on PlayStation. Gotta go play some games. Hopefully I'll see some of you online tonight. We might play some Apex when I get back. Primal, let everybody know where they can check out your fine chassis.
You can check me out on Twitter at Primal Eve. I'm also on the PSN and Xbox, also Primal Eve. Except for on the Xbox, it's 2 words, not one. I had a couple people get confused. I will be playing some Apex Legends tonight, so I'll either ignore you or not. No, I'm just kidding. If you want to play some matches, you can always hit me up, and if I have some room, you guys are more likely to join in.
Awesome. You know who I think would be a great fit on this podcast with this Primal, and that would be Mel, or Girls Can Game. Mm-hmm. Mel is such a fun chick. She's pretty awesome. You guys know Mel. Girls Can Game. A lot of you guys in the chat know her pretty well. She's pretty awesome. She can talk games. I'm pretty sure she can shit talk too. So thanks for the love, everybody.
So yeah.
Sorry?
No, I was gonna say I have spoken with her. I've never podcasted with her, and I think she'd be great to podcast with.
Absolutely. Well, whoever we get's got to be somebody that knows how to fit in and can accept our type of humor, because if you can't, it's going to be an awkward fucking hour and a half. So, yeah. But anyway, We will definitely get you on. Thanks again, Alan Savage, Lunch Bizzle, BZ, Starbuck, Timothy, Spider-Man, AK, Michael Monkey Punch, Supersonic. The list goes on, guys. You're fucking fantastic. Chat's been lit all night long. You guys are almost as raunchy as we are. I guess that's why you're here. We look forward to seeing you guys again next Tuesday night. Share the love, spread the love. Make sure you make love. It is Valentine's Day. I don't care who you make it to. It could be to your pillow, but just get your rocks off, have some fun, eat some chocolates, all that good shit. We will see you next Tuesday. Peace out from Noof and
a very, very good hot night from Primal Eve.
there you go. Get moisty up in here.
Mm-hmm.
Snail trail out, right?
Yep. we need sound effects.
Later, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.